Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to start from class 6th Histories chapter 1. What, where, how and when? If you're new on my channel, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to get further updates. So let's begin. What can we know about the past? There are several things we can find out. What people ate, the kind of clothes they wore, the houses in which they lived. We can find out about the lives of hunters, herders, farmers, rulers, merchants, craftsperson, artists, musicians and scientists. Where did people live? People have lived along the banks of Narmada River for several 100,000 years. Some of the earliest people who lived here were skilled gatherers. Here gatherers means people who gathered their food. They also hunted animals. Here hunted means to kill. Suleiman and Kurthar Hills were some of the areas where women and men first began to grow crops such as wheat and barley about 8,000 years ago. There people also began rearing animals like sheep, goat and cattle and live in the villages. Things to remember. People have lived along the banks of Narmada River 100,000 years ago. Suleiman and Kurthar Hills in northwest started to grow crops such as wheat and barley about 8,000 years ago and also reared animals.
Garo Hills to the northeast and Vindhyas in central India. These were the areas where agriculture developed. The places where rice was first grown are in the north of the Vindhyas. Now let's talk about the Indus and its tributaries. Tributaries mean smaller rivers that flow into a larger river. About 4,700 years ago, some of the earliest cities flourished on the banks of these rivers. Later, about 2,500 years ago, cities developed on the banks of the Ganga and its tributaries and along the sea coast. Things to remember. Garo Hills and Vindhyas were the places where agriculture developed. Rice was first grown to the north of the Vindhyas. Cities were first flourished on the banks of Indus and its tributaries about 4,700 years ago. In ancient times, the area along the Ganga and its tributary rivers to the southern area was known as Magadha. Its rulers very powerful and set up a large kingdom. Kingdoms square set up in other parts of the country as well. South Asia is often called a subcontinent, because although it is smaller than a continent, it is very large and is separated from the rest of the Asia by seas, hills and mountains.
Names of the land. Two of the words we often use for our country are India and Bharat. The word India comes from the Indus, called Sindhu in Sanskrit. Iranian and the Greeks who came through the northwest about 2,500 years ago and were familiar with the Indus called it the Hindos or the Indos. And the land to the east of the river was called India. The name Bharat was used for a group of people who lived in the northwest and who were mentioned in the Rigveda. The earliest composition in Sanskrit about 3,500 years ago.
Things to remember. In ancient times, the area along the Ganga and its tributary rivers to the southern area was known as Magadha. About 2,500 years ago. Name India comes from river Indus. And Bharata from Rigveda.
There are several ways finding out about the past. One is to search for and read books that were written long ago. These are called manuscripts, because they were written by hand. This word comes from the Latin word manu, which means hand. These were usually written on the palm leaf, or on a specially prepared bark of the tree known as the birch, which grows in Himalayas. We can also study inscriptions. These writings on relatively hard surfaces such as stone or metal.
Those who study these objects are called archaeologists. They study remains, buildings made of stone and brick, paintings and sculptures. They also explore and excavate, which means dig under the surface of the earth to find tools.
What do dates means? These years are counted from the date generally assigned to the birth of Jesus Christ, the founder of Christianity. Before his birth, dates were named with BC, which stands for before Christ. AD stands for Anno Domini, which means in the year of the Lord, such as AD 2005. CE stands for Common Era, and BCE stands before Common Era. BP stands for before present. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Hope you understood this chapter. In future I will come up with many videos. So subscribe to my channel. Bye for now. Meet you in next video.